Aw shit, here we go again. So, apparently, Palworld developer Pocket Pair is getting sued yet again by Nintendo. It's not for what you think, right? You think this is why they're getting sued. This right here, right? You think you think they're getting sued for this, right? For that? No, they're not getting sued for that. Apparently, they're getting sued. Get the shit off my screen for like how the Pal balls capture the Pokemon and the fucking Wiggle, and they're getting sued for effectively things like trademarks. Now, trademarks are very, very, very specific. For example, Disney now has trademark over the Darth Vader breathing sound or the sound of the lightsaber when it comes out. Like, that's trademark. And the more specific the thing is, the more you can trademark it. And that's kind of what Nintendo is hoping to invoke. Right? They're hoping to invoke that when it comes to, how the Pokeballs, the mechanic works to capturing the pals. Like how you have to get them to effectively a weakened state. So what statuses are inflicted on them, if they're staggered, how low or high their health is, in order to increase your chances of capturing them. And my thing is, it's kind of how the cavemen would hunt in reality, right? Like, you can't trademark human interaction or like reality. It's very fucking weird because again, maybe that they couldn't have like, and I believe Palworld 100% and shamelessly ripped off Pokemon, right? But Pokemon did the same thing, right? Now, okay, I'm gonna go to Google. Pokemon rip off of Dragon Quest. So as you can see, I fucking hate that you can't. Please get. There we go. As you can see, Pokemon did the same goddamn thing with Dragon Quest. So, I mean, and again, this isn't why they're suing, but this was one of the reasons why they sued, tried to go after them to begin with. And they're doing it now. Because I 100% believe that they've been compiling lots of evidence and information, and most lawsuits take like years. Players are now left wondering whether Nintendo and the Pokemon Company lawsuit will force Pocket to remove Palworld from sale or even shut down the game. As you expect, the official Palworld Discord is packed with posts from players debating likelihood of Nintendo's success in this lawsuit and its potential effect on the game. Yeah, you have paying customers who like the game being like, so is Nintendo going to bar us from playing this product that we play? And again, I believe they 100% shamelessly ripped off Pokemon. But my other argument is I don't care. Like, I mean, I don't know and or care what Japanese law is. Nintendo has been known, and most, like Nintendo, Konami, like these Japanese companies have been known for going after like YouTubers, like with Konami when you would videotape like a tournament and then Konami would come after you for whatever reason, it's like, okay, yeah, you're playing their card game, but you bought the cards. It is your cards. It is the product. And they're shutting down. Same thing with like Smash tournaments. Even if there's absolutely no money involved, Nintendo will absolutely smack them down. And again, this is what I mean. And again, this isn't Nintendo themselves bringing the fucking Pinkertons, right? This is Nintendo utilizing the power of the government to shut down, to enforce these laws. And I think the consumer will lose at the end of the day. And again, anything where the consumer loses, like, I don't have a problem with defending your trademark or defending your copyright. Like, the point of copyright was so that, say, Disney doesn't have a monopoly on everything animation, or Star Wars does not have a monopoly on everything sci-fi, or the Lord of the Rings don't have a monopoly on everything fantasy, right? The point of copyright is to ensure, the art, even if it's transformative enough, to ensure that art still is released and comes out, and corporations don't have effectively a monopoly on art and creativity. But again, because of their Looney Tune laws, which, I mean, uh, I don't like shit, but if anything is done to where the consumer loses, and in this case, if Palworld is shut down, the consumer loses, because Nintendo has kind of flaunted when it came to Pokemon. Like, Arceus was fine, but with Sword and Shield, it's buggy. It's effectively Arceus in every name, right? And again, you have Palworld come out, and they made millions of dollars. Like, people liked the game, and I think IP adjacent products and games and should exist. Like, IP adjacent products, art should exist. Otherwise, you get the case of Star Wars, where the people over the IP are just letting it fail, and they're glad it's failing, and there's not really a competitor to Star Wars. Like, Star Trek was a competitor for a little bit, but then it also went down. I'd say the Orville is something that could, but it only has like 3 seasons. It hasn't come out with any more seasons. So sci-fi has really taken a dip. I mean, Dune is fine, but it's kind of the only one. I think just IP adjacent products should exist, just to remind companies like Nintendo that, look, if you're not going to do anything, if you're just going to shove out yet another Pokemon game with very little effort or innovation, like, you're going to have a company like Pocket Pair that come out with Palworld, and they actually just suck up your consumer base. After Palworld's record-breaking launch in January and subsequent comparison to Pokemon, IGN asked experts whether Nintendo could potentially successfully sue Pocket Pair. The time, Peter Lawin, video game lawyer at Wigan, told IGN much would depend on which country Nintendo pursued legal action, given the difference in IP laws across the globe. The U.S., for example, has a notoriously permissive fair use defense. Notoriously permissive. Again, because our copyright laws is, okay, you should not have full, like, monopoly on an artistic style. Like, even if a ripoff one for one comes out, but if the consumer wants it and thinks it's better than the original, I don't care. Like, even if I was to make a game, I was to make an IP, I'd understand. This is probably going to get ripped off. It's probably going to get, pirated, and I'll do my best, but multi-billion-dollar companies can't do this. which might have influenced where Nintendo sued Pocket Pair. Nintendo's lawsuits was filed in Tokyo District Court. Same I don't care, but all this is just. Uh, oh no, wait. The analysis, however, was context of a lawsuit based upon copyright infringement. Nintendo's lawsuit alleges patent infringement, although the company has yet to detail which patents. I mean, we know it's the patents on the fucking Pokeball and the Palball. Like, we know what the patent is that they're trying to defend. And my argument is that's such a Looney Tune ass way to come after Palworld. And if this goes through, again, this is a company leveraging the power of the government to ensure the consumer doesn't get the product they want. And I mean, Nintendo has been that company that actually releases good games and good products for the people they want, but their Looney Tunes stance on their IP, on, copyright is something I don't understand. Look, if the consumer wants it, the consumer's going to get it, right? And I don't think, again, a company should leverage the power of the government to stop the consumer. That's what I believe. And if I'm the only one that really holds this opinion, well, I guess I'm just going to be the only one in the wrong here. And I have this opinion because, again, you see popular IPs just failing and flaunting, and the people over those IPs actively hate the IP. They hate the consumer. That's why everything's a remake, a remaster, a prequel, a sequel. Everything costs millions of dollars because they have to pay off the leeches, the ideological leeches. And because of this, I think games like Palworld should exist, right? And Pokemon was fine up until, what was it, Sword and Shield. But we see that even then, again, Palworld should exist without, and it just turns out people wanted the game. So again, I don't know why a company should step between that. And again, this is yet another attempt, and they have yet to detail which patent. Again, we know the patent, right? The patent is the ball throwing, and I believe even if that fails, they'll go after something else completely different. Yeah, every dungeon. Yeah. So what do the comments say? Maybe Nintendo spend half as much time and effort into making some decent hardware to run their games as they do taking people to court. They wouldn't have this problem. Ditch the gimmicks and make a proper console with decent hardware. To be fair, yes, the Switch is technically inferior to most consoles, but people don't really care for the hardware. Like, people buy the Switch, people buy Nintendo games is because Nintendo's actually releasing good what's the word I'm looking for? They're releasing good console exclusives that people want to play, and there's an active audience for it. They're not just releasing, well, I guess in the case of Pokemon, it is just a sequel. But, again, people want Nintendo games, and, I mean, releasing a Switch 2. What I hated was, I don't like, really jumping between, like, my DS and my Nintendo. So they really do need a concise, a concise console for all their games. But I mean, maybe if they release a better Nintendo Switch, it'd be fine. The company's philosophy has always been to do more with less. Look into their company mission. They wouldn't have sold as many Switches if it was priced higher. Most people don't care about the power console, only a tiny. Yeah, I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. I remember when Apple was suing Samsung, and at one point it came down to the concept of unlocking the screen with the side swipe motion. I struggle to see how that's good use of anyone's time. Again, we're comparing an American greedy fucking company like Apple with a company like Nintendo. Now, maybe Nintendo is greedy. I don't know. I just think they want to protect their IPs and their company. And again, it's their culture. And again, they have completely different rules. But me, if any rule comes between the consumer and the product they want to buy, or at least in the case of Palworld, the product they have already bought, I think it is just a bad rule. The thing is that Samsung is well known for stealing ideas from their competitors and then lying them up in court. Once the company sues them for violation, Samsung then gets the bulk of the sales from their devices with stolen concepts while the court case plays out. Again, the unlocking of a phone screen, like, is that really a trademark or a copyright? I mean, that's just something most phones do. Like, it's just a level of security. I don't think a level of security should be patented and copyrighted. And if it is, the problem is the copyright or the patent. Though we're getting off topic. It should be against the law to be able to patent gameplay mechanics. It's 100% stifling to creativity and it should be thrown out of court. Yeah, it's old, archaic ideas of, oh, we own every single aspect of this game. And I think we see this with like another things, like in on YouTube. You have the React Bros, I think what they're called, trying to patent reaction content, and because of that, people just was like, "What the fuck, bro?" And there were whole channels dedicated to their downfall. It all started with WB patenting the Nemesis system from Shadows of Mordor. Oh yeah, they did have that system. Is that I think that's the is it like the I can't oh god, now I can't think of the word. I can't forgot what the fuck I was talking about. Yeah. You know, it's effectively just I know the Nemesis system is effectively just lines of code with NPCs, if I'm not mistaken. Like, they're patenting just lines of code with NPC interaction. And what happens is, okay, if you want to make a game with this in mind, you have to use a completely different system. But this was revolutionary at the time. Like, this was the standard at one point until they patented it. And now we just can't get other games with a similar system. This doesn't say they patented gameplay mechanics. In fact, Pocket Pair is saying they don't even know what they have infringed on. Well, I mean, again, we know now, right? It's on the Pokeball throwing bull crap and how the mechanics around them work. We didn't infringe on copyright. We just trained our AI model on your world's famous character design and had it create nearly identical ones that everyone recognized. See, no, this is not substantiated. This is something somebody said, and now it's being parroted by Pokemon dick writers. And yeah, and the lawsuit is not to do with the copyright. It is a patent lawsuit. Please read the article properly next time. Yeah. I mean, you can't patent a character design, dude. You can. I think you can. You can't patent it. But again, it does fall under copyright. But most companies understand that if there's, at least American companies understand that if there's fan art being made of their game is effectively free publicity. So I guess even if you could go after them, most companies just choose not to. You don't know what's a patent, right? I mean, I believe most people don't. Like, patents are like the ruling around them are purposefully made with legal jargon and legal speak that most normal people don't know and or really care about. Again, my argument is if it comes between the consumer and what the consumer wants, then the patent is the problem, right? Mm, so I'm unfamiliar with both Pokemon and Palworld. I had never played Palworld or Pokemon games outside of a brief stint of Pokemon Go with some friends. That wasn't very much at all. But the lawsuit being due to patent infringement, not copyright infringement, is what intrigues me. I mean, they tried. Like, remember, they tried going after them. What could the patent infringement be if the two games franchises are in two different types of genres? I mean, they're not. They're in the same genre. Like, the whole monster capturing, monster training, monster fighting thing, again, was done back in Dragon Quest. I mean, it is a genre. The problem is Nintendo has this chokehold on the genre. The other thing I can tell might be a case of is the Pokeballs that you use to capture creatures. Yeah, this is what the the patent is. Some mission as well. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And again, my argument is that's an oddly specific, and all they need to do is use completely different lines of code to change it, right? I mean, yeah, but anyway, I honestly I like Pokemon. I like Nintendo as a company. They make good products. I hope they lose this lawsuit because again, the consumer has spoken. They like Palworld. They want innovation in the whole monster capturing bullshit. And at least was it game? I can't remember the company over Pokemon, but they refused to really innovate. The last innovation with their system was Arceus, Pokemon Arceus. But then Pokemon Sword and Shield was literally just ripped off Pokemon Arceus. So yeah, I hope they lose this lawsuit because IP adjacent products or art should IP adjacent IPs should exist in my opinion. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. See ya.